provide better context for our agents, and so on. And this point of view also shares the Angular core team. And if you take a look at the roadmap of Angular, you can see that top priority is AI experience for developers. So this is the top goal of Angular team, as long as Angular developer experience, which I think goes together with the first goal. So today we will take a look at a couple of aspects of where Angular already today can bring us some tools or things that could significantly improve the output of generated code by our agents. So we will talk about the context, about tools, about agent skills, how to measure the quality of the generated code, and we will see how to make our apps a bit AI friendly. And if you don't know where to start, if you're just starting your journey with AI and Angular, the best, I think, command would be like this. Just start here, run this command, and generate AI config, and choose the tool you use. I personally prefer Claude, but yeah, you can use Codex, whatever. And this command, it will generate a couple of things for you. The first thing it will generate for you the agentsmd file. And I'm pretty sure every one of you knows, yeah, agentsmd file, this is the file that agents immediately pull into a context. And here, Angular team already prepared for you the set of TypeScript best practices, Angular best practices. So basically, it's like squeezed or distilled Angular style guide that was recently updated. And yeah, it's just a compact version that you can already copy-paste and use. If you use, by the way, Claude Code, like I do, you have to create ClodeMD file because Claude is a very special tool. Yeah, they want to be very unique, and they don't want just to use agents like other harnesses do, but they need a special ClodeMD. But they support such a directive like @sign, and then you point the name of file, and you can think of it like import. Yeah, so agentsmd will be imported into ClodeMD the eager way, so immediately. What I also do, this is what automatically generated, but in reality, what I do, I extract those best practices into a separate file and place them somewhere under the docs folder or something like that. And I simply instruct agent in ClodeMD, for example, that, okay, before writing or editing TS or HTML files, read and link to the best practices file. It has one benefit that I find pretty useful. It enables so-called progressive disclosure for the agent. It means that the best practices will not be loaded automatically, eagerly into a context, but it's up to the agent when to load it. So your context will not be bloated immediately, but it will be, the best practices will be pulled only when agent has to work with the particular files. One caveat, it's not you cannot predict always how the agent's decision, so sometimes it skips that, but you have to instruct them very explicit that they have to read this file at particular moment. The next by the way, yeah, you can use also rules if you use Claude Code. This is the feature I discovered recently. I don't know how new it is. Maybe some of you know, but I discovered it just a week ago or so. This is the simple folder under the Claude folder called rules. And by default, files or MD files, instructions placed under the rules, they will be like loaded automatically to the context like ClodeMD file with the same priority, but it has one advantage or feature, let's say. It's a path. You can define type of files, and when agent reads these files, only then this rule will be loaded. So if you have a big monorepo, for example, and you want to somehow improve or destructure your context and make it more like on-demand loaded, this is one of the features you can consider for your workflow. Yeah, just a tip. All right, so we talked about context a little bit. Sorry. Yeah, few keywords. Unlike ClodeMD file rules, they after the compact. So if you squeeze the context window, if you call the compact command, they will not be reinjected. They will be reinjected when after the compact, when you prompt something and agent again reads files, only then they will be reinjected. And also rules, they are loaded when Claude reads the file and not during the file creation, which means that it's not always these rules might be loaded if you, for example, ask Claude to create Angular component in particular folder. It will go and simply create, and it doesn't read the file. And at this point, the Angular best practices MD will not be loaded. So this is something to consider. Yeah, it's one tricky moment. The next stop is MCP. Is there anyone who doesn't know what is MCP? Okay, everyone pretty much know what is that. And Angular team provides Angular CLI MCP. That brings certain tools that our agents can use. The setup is very straightforward. It's just .mcp JSON file with the following setup that likely will be generated by the command you saw before. And it brings a few tools that you might find useful. For example, we have dev server start, dev server stop that helps agent to manipulate this type of work. It can fetch best practices for you. It can list projects, or I find pretty useful on push zoneless migration. This is the tool that you can run and benefit from some automations AI provides during the zoneless migration. And the usage of MCP server is like pretty straightforward because you have to do basically nothing. You just activate it, and the tools will be invoked by agent itself. And it looks like this. I just recorded a very simple demo where I just prompt migrate the application. It's one of the old applications that's powered by Zone. And I asked to migrate to zoneless. I didn't provide nothing, no instructions, nothing, just migrate to zoneless. And agent started to analyze my database, the code base. It asks permission to call this projects tool. And once it figures out which project to migrate, which projects I have, it also asks if it can use on push zoneless migration. And I just, approve it. And then agent using this MCP tool performs the migration. And it just, not just switch to zoneless, it also enables on push change detection strategy for all your components, which is essential and the first step that you have to do before switching to zoneless, because otherwise you might have problems with that. And these all instructions are in that tool, and you don't have to define them on your own. Agent supposed to do everything automatically. Of course, it's not perfect. It makes mistakes. It depends how fucked up the project is. Yeah, if you did everything properly, then very often even simple migration schematic can help you. But AI agent can handle more nuanced use cases, but if you completely like did something strange with your Angular project, then yeah, you might have problems. Yeah, you would need to additionally debug things, but yeah, very often it really helps. Then the next stop is skills, supposed to be. If I find a way how to jump to the next slide. Yes, so skills. I'm also pretty sure everyone knows what skills, right? The hands who doesn't know what the skills, everyone knows. Great. So this is just a markdown file with instructions for our agent how to perform certain operations. And in Angular, we have also skills developed and provided and maintained by Angular core team that you can simply install in your project or globally for yourself using this simple command. You can also use a skill flag to define which exactly skill you want. And by the way, talking about which skills are available, right now we have two. We have one skill, Angular new app, which I personally have never used because I think Angular CLI is a way faster way to scaffold the new application. But another one, Angular developer skill, is is more interesting and more useful because it teaches agent a lot of stuff that agent can perform. And we can also take a look at this. I find it pretty useful if you just investigate things that you use. You can see that, yeah, this is just a skill file that instructs your agent to always analyze the project version before providing guidance and so on, so on, so on. And then it has dedicated sections about components, data management, and forms, for example. Yeah, so some specific domains and references to different code examples that agents use. And agents, they love examples and they love to follow patterns. And this is exactly what Angular team did. And by the way, they also structured it in a way to enable this progressive disclosure. So you can see that inside a reference, we have huge amount of files, yeah, but they will not be automatically loaded to the context. They will be loaded on demand, basically. And if we go, for example, to the signal forms, you can see the example. You can see like some critical hints for the agent, and it significantly improved the quality of the code that agent eventually generate. So, yeah, that's something I wanted to say about skills. So, quick summary, skills, MCP, and CloudMD, they are good foundation to start with. But of course, it needs to be extended. They are not silver bullets, and you have to adjust it to your project, to your processes, because like it should be a reflection of yourself. And by yourself, you can replace with a company, with a project, with your persona, yeah, because everything is different. We think different. We like have different way of working. We have different principles that drive our like final results. So it needs to be resonated with you. Yeah, so that's why I usually write my own skills. I extend them to reflect my way of thinking and not someone else, because usually it doesn't work for me. But then we come, like we did first steps, and now the question how to measure the quality of the changes that we actually apply to our prompts, to our agents, MD files, and so on. And for that, Angular team built a tool called CodeGen Square that distributed as a regular NPM package that you can install using this simple command. And it allows you to analyze the quality of the generated code from by agents. And by the way, it's not just about Angular. It is framework agnostic. You can use it with any framework. And it supports also multiple LLM models that you want to test probably and compare to each other. And now we switch to my best part of any presentation. It's a live coding where so many things can go wrong, but yeah, let's see. Especially with the agents, which is very deterministic thing. Yeah, it's sometimes not so easy. Okay, so let me mirror my screen. So, okay. Mm. 1 second. Okay. Okay. LLM code analyzer demo. Do you see okay what is happening here? Because it seems like not so good, right? Okay, let me try to maybe switch to the light theme. Better, right? Okay, let's stay then with this theme. So I prepared some demo application. I will guide you through very quickly through the most probably important parts. So one of the folders I have here, it's a set of prompts where, for example, I have a simple prompt, develop a contact form that should include blah, blah, blah fields. And yeah, so we ask agent to develop some little thing, little application or little component, and we can have a bunch of them. Yeah, because we want to test maybe forms, we want to test some other aspects, and so on and so on. So we create such prompts first of all. Then we have something like in their terminology is called environments. Yeah, this is a different configuration in which LLM model will be working on. For example, we can define the system instructions for the particular environment. For example, I have currently no best practices environment where we don't say agent best practices about Angular and TypeScript, and it's a simple prompt that just instructs, okay, create application, generate some styling, whatsoever. Yeah, you can just then later read this simple instruction. And then we have config.js, where we describe where the project template, for example, I share the same project between multiple environments. So to keep everything in sync, I just have one source of truth, one template, one Angular application that has the same versioning and so on and so on. And yeah, then we define which system prompt has to be used. We define executable prompts. Those are actually prompts that yeah, we defined right here. So it will be in the loop generated, executed those prompts and generated corresponding applications. And we have a set of ratings. And we will come back to ratings a little bit later. But this is pretty much the entire idea. Yeah? And what you have to do is to run simply the command like this, npm run eval, which actually looks like this. Yeah? We define which model has to generate thing, which model has to verify the result, because one part of the verification, it's a code review by another model, and this is the model you define. Usually you have to prefer different models for generation and review, but I did it because it requires API token, so it's paid experiment. Yeah, so that's why I didn't want to pay to Anthropic, for example, for the model, just for demo and for ChatGPT and for OpenAI. So I kept it simple. And yeah, you run this command. I will not be running it now because it will take some time for agent to generate stuff, but I will show you the result. The result will be the following. Here's the folder LLM output, and for every environment, it will generate the particular code, yeah, that will be eventually evaluated. So you can see that this is the result for Angular without best practices environment. You can see that it uses outdated code, it uses the constructor dependency injection and stuff. And if we go to app HTML, you can see the usage of the old API like ngIf, etc., etc. So pretty bad result. Same for using best practices. So this is the application that was generated with applied best practices that I defined inside these corresponding system instructions. And there I have like pretty much the same. I would say that it's copy paste, but there below I just say that strictly follow the best practices. And this is something I copied from the automatically generated agentsmd file, right? And the result is slightly different already and got better because it already uses signals. It also, if we go to HTML, it's using the modern control flow, which is cool. Now it's time to evaluate to see the scores which we got from this tool. And to do that, we have to run npm run report command. And what it does, it actually runs evaluation and shows us a simple application that looks like this. You can see our environment for no best practices and using best practices. If you go inside, you will see the system prompt that has been utilized for generating the application. It has the repair system prompt, so it's a default prompt that will be the command that will be prompted to the agent when the build is failed. Yeah, so we ask to fix it and return the correct code. And there we have already like the list of different criteria that were included into the evaluation process. Yeah, so we check if the application could be built successfully at all. We check runtime exceptions and many other criteria based on which ones we will get eventually the points. Yeah. And also here's actually the form that has been generated because this tool also does screenshot. Yeah, and then analyzes also the visual part, so you can ask about evaluation model to like check if the design is accessible, if people see actually the form, the button, and all this stuff. Then you might be actually curious, like we applied no best practices and we got highest level of the highest score, and we got the same point with best practices. And this is the thing that you already have to customize actually, because those are like built-in criteria, the ones you can see right here. Yeah, they are built in and they are coming from, let me open. They are coming from this function, get built-in ratings. This is what we get out of the box. But we can do our own ratings. We can create those evaluation, I don't know what they are, actually objects or object with a function, and it looks like this. So it's just a object where we describe what kind of evaluation it is. It is per file or it is per build, etc., etc. Some metadata like name ID. We can define impact that this rating has on the eventual score. For example, if I see that LLM generated the outdated control flow syntax, I consider it as a high impact. You might consider it a medium impact, but it's up to you how to define that. And you also can define the score reduction. So if this rule fails, how much from there, like points have to decrease from the final result. And then important function, it's actually evaluation function called rate, where we get the code generated that we got from the output and the file path in case you need it. And we simply just take a code and try to find any substring that matches this simple regex. So if we enter something like ng switch case, ng4, ngif whatsoever, we then return object with rating 0, which indicates that we failed this check, and the error message that helps us to identify what went wrong. And so we can actually try to add those ratings to our environments and see what will happen. So I will add the control flow rating and standalone rating. Yeah, that checks that if model defined standalone true in the component decorator. Because in modern Angular we don't need it because standalone it's by default. So I add it here. I then add these ratings right there as well, and we can do re-evaluation. And for that, we have to run the same commands for like we did before, but this time, pay attention, I add this -- local flag, and this flag means that the application, the code right here, inside the output, it will not be regenerated by the model again. And we run our score against this already generated code. Yeah, it's just needed for you when you test your ratings and you don't want to spend tokens for regeneration of the application each time. So we run it for using best practices, and I think in parallel we could run the same but for no best practices environment and see how it will eventually be reflected in our scoreboard. It will take some time again because some evaluation model needs to recheck the final code. Our ratings have to be executed, so it will take some time, not so much as if we would do everything from scratch. Well, let's check. Yeah, still thinking. Hopefully we have internet. Yeah. Okay, maybe you have meanwhile some small questions you can ask me because let's see, it takes some time. Yeah.
So you're using LLM to generate code, right?
Yeah.
Can you use the local one?
I think so. They allow you to define your models, but wait a second. No. This model has to be supported by AI. How do they call this framework? It's AI SDK, yeah, by Vercel. So this model has to be supported by this framework because it's being used as a runner for this tool. Yeah, but you can check. They have multiple runners, and it can be extended by your custom ones. So yeah, actually, I'm not sure if it's possible with the local ones, but with the ones that supported by that framework, AI SDK, yeah, it should work. But this tool also, it's not, I mean, it's not ready yet, I think so, because after some time playing with it, I see that there are some problems sometimes appear, but in general, yeah, it's pretty much okay. So our evaluation finished, and we can rerun our scoreboard and see how things changed. And now you see already the difference that no best practices environment got a lower score. And if we open it, we will see our ratings in action. So the syntax failed modern control flow, and also the no explicit standalone flag. So our custom ratings, they already decreased the final score for this environment. And this is how you can adjust it for yourself, for your coding standards, and you can then very easily check how other models perform. Yeah, because you can spin it up for ask other model to generate things and compare is the result is better, the output is better or worse. And same, you can test your prompts as well. So you change the prompt, you see how good the result, if the score is higher or lower. So this is something that might be also useful. All right, so let's stop this part. And now let's switch back to WebMCP demo, which, okay, I have to switch back to the slide, but okay. Let's jump straight to the point because it's another live demo. Quick questions before. Has anybody heard about WebMCP? What is that? Okay, a few people. The fact that you know what the general MCP is will help you quite a lot here. But yeah, let me once demonstrate the issue, and yeah, and everything will get way cleaner. So I will switch again to the lighter theme, and first of all, let's start the application. So for demo purposes, I created a simple online store where we sell some online courses. They are real one. Sorry for the promotion. I hate selling, but I have to do it because otherwise people don't know about my products. So simple application, we can interact, add to the cart, remove from the cart, and so on. So application designed for humans first. And very often we delegate certain work to agents, right? And we do it more and more often. So let's see what will happen if we ask agent, like Claude Code, to perform this task. So I simply go there and say, hey, Claude, can you please visit this online shop and this URL and add all courses to the cart? Let's see how it will handle it. So it will start thinking about, and I will maybe tell you if we have time what actually will happen. So it will go there, it will take a screenshot of our online store in order to understand what actually there exists, what is present there, where the buttons, where the everything, grab the corresponding coordinates for our buttons that you probably see here. Yeah, you can see it takes a screenshot, then it analyzes it. It understands where the coordinates for each of these buttons, and then it fires. It should fire somewhere. Yeah, you can see left click with the coordinates. Damn it. Left click with particular coordinates that corresponds to a particular button. Yeah, and it works actually. And if we go to the browser that Claude has to spin up somewhere, yeah, here it is. You can see all three courses have been added. So agent could manage this task. Not ideally, it did a lot of things under the hood, but still, yeah, the task is done. But now let's go and change our prompt a little bit. Where is my Claude? Aha, here we go. So let's edit it and say add all bestseller courses to the cart. We changed one simple word, and now things got not so obvious for the agent because we don't have any label there that identifies what the bestseller course is. And we force agent to interpretate the information available on the front end and take decision on its own what is the bestseller course. But this is not enough to make this decision because a lot of information is a backend thing probably, or agents don't know what criteria for us for the best-selling course. Yeah, is it the course that has the most amount of stars? Probably, but maybe it's just the first review and it got suddenly the highest score, or maybe this is the most viewed course. It's also not necessary must be there. It's a complex algorithm that defines these criteria, and you can see. Sorry, yeah, we had to reset the state because we added already everything. So Claude says that what you want from me, like everything already is added. So let's try to simply reload. But we will see in a minute some judgments from the agent that, okay, it says, there is no label, I don't know, I made such a decision based on the information available. And other agents might think differently and they might use their own criteria to identify the best-selling course. So we lose these deterministic things for agents, and they can go in many different directions, and this is definitely not what we want, yeah? Because it might directly impact their sales of our online store, especially in the future when agents will be doing this more and more. And this is the problem which WebMCP actually solves, because instead of scraping data, analyzing data, and makes decisions on its own, we can provide tools, particular tools for the agent that can be called, and all this journey with parsing data and all this stuff can be simply skipped. And yeah, as you can see, as I told already, it said that there is no bestseller, and it added advanced Angular forms because it dominates by metrics which agent decided to be the main ones. So how we can solve this issue with WebMCP? So I prepared a simple demo, and this is how it looks like. So inside app config, you can define this function, provide experimental WebMCP tools. And here we define the name of the tool and description, which is, by the way, very important because this is what agent will be using in order to understand if it needs to use this tool or not. Also, we can define the input schema. This is the parameters that can be provided to this tool, and we have execute function. This is where we already perform certain logic that we need. And in my case, I simply return a bestseller courses that's probably stored on the backend. So I go to the backend, I fetch the data, and return it. And if we try to restart it to make sure that nothing is corrupted, and let's reload our page and try to ask Claude perform the same thing once again. Because this is very new thing. Agents by default, they don't go and check for these tools, and you have to explicitly say that use WebMCP tools if available. So like that. Because this protocol was announced, I think, this February. It's just less than half year ago. So models, they not immediately pick them up. Yeah, so it will start to evaluate. It's sometimes people think that it will make agent faster. Not necessary. It will make it less chaotic. It will give more prediction to your website. But I mean, sometimes it might be faster, definitely, in some cases. But I didn't notice that agents perform faster on my website when I provide tools. Okay, and now you can see that agent could recognize the get bestseller tool, and in fact, there are two best sellers, which have been eventually added. And in such a way, we already get the result. The correct result, the deterministic result. It doesn't matter how many times I will run this prompt. Every time I will get the same things as the output. And there will not be a situation when we every time get the different results. So yeah, the last thing I would like to show is that if you need to extend things and, for example, make your tools more flexible, you can also extend the tool with different properties. For example, we can provide the sorting, the order by criteria for that, and these things will be added, can be fetched right here, and you can then provide them as an argument to your service. And this is something that agents also can easily interact with it, and you can make your prompt even more advanced and say that, give me the bestseller course that was recently updated. And it will use, for example, this criteria updated at, and will be more flexible and will give you more accurate and more flexible results. So this is how WebMCP works. Again, it's experimental thing for you to play around. It's not a production-ready solution. It changes very fast because it's under active development. It is supported by Google Chrome only so far. I have no idea if it will be supported by other browsers like Mozilla, Firefox, or Safari. Safari maybe never. It's our new Internet Explorer. Yeah, but Google Chrome, it supports. You can play with it, and I think this is everything I would like to share with you today. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for that amazing talk. Question time.
Here you go.
Thank you. I think you're going to kill me because I have 5 questions.
Oh, yeah, nice. Yeah, let's go.
So stop me or maybe take someone else if you're bored. So yeah, thank you very much. It's very nice tools. Going backwards because you mentioned just the WebMCP tools. Is there a decorator version of how to add WebMCP functions? Because I think it's
No, there's
not
no.
not intuitive to have like a central spot for it, but I would like to go into the order service or catalog service and add a decorator at get bestsellers and define that this is an MCP function.
No, there is no decorator right now. You can provide it only using this function. But what I didn't mention, and that's a good question, by the way, is that not necessarily it must be provided on the root level, the root injector. It might be provided on the router injector, for example. So the MCP tool can be enabled only when user enters a particular route or when some service is being instantiated, because you can call this function also inside the constructor of the particular service or class or forms. They also support it, and you can enable a particular tool for a particular form. For example, if you have some conversation with a chatbot and you want to fill out the form based on this conversation, it can be done by the tools that registered exactly for the form.
Okay, thanks. So second question, like the end-to-end testing workflow for me, when I look at this, would basically be Claude, write me some playwright tests based on what you identified in the website. Have you experimented with this?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Unfortunately, I didn't explore yet end-to-end testing in context of this new tool. I didn't have time for that, so I cannot tell you exactly what would be the best practice to do that. Yeah, so far it is so. But I think it should work because it's end-to-end test happens in the browser actually, and WebMCP tool is supported exactly by browsers. By the way, this is another like limitation I forgot to mention, is that it works only on the browser. It needs the browser instance, because if your agent will fetch the URL, even if you have registered WebMCP tools, they will be ignored. So it needs exactly the browser. So yeah, the agent has to interact with it. But about end-to-end tests, I cannot say anything exactly right now.
Okay, maybe homework for next time.
You can use playwright the right way to go using Chromium. You can set up, I especially work with a playwright, so you can continue to
Yeah. So theoretically, it should be possible, but I don't want to, say something I'm not sure about.
Okay. Then regarding the what was it called? Web code gen scorer.
Yeah.
So those are more or less, it's not static, but it's not architecturally investigating the generated code, right?
It's more about, from what I see, it's more about code style, like code quality, I would say. But architecture, I think it's theoretically possible. So you can ask, because you can enter any prompt, you can describe agent to follow, like to implement particular architecture, and ask evaluation model to focus exactly on the architectural point of view of the result. And you can create your own rating that will be evaluating exactly this criteria.
So there is an LLM also used in the evaluation, and not only in the generation of the...
Yes, you can create a rating where another LLM will be, reviewing their output. The only thing is that architecture, it's something that has scale, right? It's not something tiny, like, a few components, it's not enough to test the architecture, I think so. Maybe architecture of the component, on the component level, yes, but at scale. It needs a lot of kind of entities involved, but you should keep in mind that it costs money. Yeah, so it might be not cost efficient to test an architecture.
This is why I asked about local LLM usage for this specific topic. But sorry, I meant like architectural compliance, more or less, because if you have a agent file, an agent MD that tells you should implement functions not more than once and refactor if blah blah blah, you know, then this wouldn't be covered by the standard evaluation, right? But you could use an LLM as a prompt.
Yeah, I think you could just come up with a prompt with a use case that's like, let's say, tricky one that might cause model to create duplication of the code and things like that. And yeah, you can then ask evaluation model to check exactly this criteria if the model come up with the useful abstraction you expected in the output. So you could do things like that. It's just, depends on the use case. And yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, final question. Wait, where was I? I'm not sure if you know something like J-Code Munch or something like this. Like it's a plugin or an MCP for indexing the code base. So it increases token efficiency because the LLM doesn't have to go through all the files. And J-Code Munch. Yeah, it's the first one that's in the list. And I just talked with Claude, and it said like there's some LSP plugin for Claude. So maybe you've experience with this one.
No, I didn't see it before.
So my question is basically, so what is the best practice for keeping token efficiency up using tools like LSP or J-Code Munch?
Yeah, thanks. I will read about it definitely.
Okay.
Because these tools appear so fast, I have no time to catch all of them. So yeah.
Okay, so I'm finished. Thank you very much for the answers and for the talk. Okay.
What questions? Go. Thank you. Thank you for the talk.
Yep.
I struggled with working with MCPs, and thank you also to showing us the WebMCP. What I'm asking by myself is, how much time should I invest? Should I build my own MCP server, like the Angular has the CLI MCP? Now you came with the WebMCP, and how you has showing us you can define it by themselves. It's like you have not to be then a developer, but the salesman, like how to define it. How do you see the future about MCPs? How much should we, like develop by ourselves the MCPs?
Well, it's a good question. Regarding the standard MCP, I would say, like a couple of weeks ago, I would say that MCP was beaten by skills in most of the cases. Skills, they more context efficient, they way easier, they like have a lot of advantages, and they took over a lot of MCP's work. So we were close to say that MCP is dead, but recently, just a few days ago or so, they introduced their stateless MCPs. They updated this protocol, which eliminates a lot of pain points of the previous MCP standard. So it seems like MCP got the, the next chance to be more used. Let's see how it will continue. I have no idea so far, but it seems like this protocol will stay, and it actually quite useful sometimes. Regarding WebMCP, I think it's like we have different little stages when we develop like mobile first applications and etc. Now we will be developing agent first. So we will be adapting it to to make it easier to interact with agents, because it seems like everything goes that agents will be talking to agents and they need interface that slightly different from our the way how we interact with UIs, and it seems like we will need to do like so-called headless or UI-less functionality also to have our services more like agent-friendly, because the more and more we delegate to the agents, and I see it's one of the ways how we will be designing the future. So we will have UI-less version of our component, and we have version for human. Maybe some applications will be completely, UI-less. Who knows? We don't know it yet. And by the way, I saw recently, just discovered that you can set up a special WebMCP tool. This is from extension to debug the WebMCPs. And actually, when you enter different web pages, you will see if they have these tools. And I saw there today anthropic.com, somewhere in docs, and they had actually tools. Where's the docs? Pricing overview. Okay, let's do cloud docs. So I was glad to see that this protocol is being adopted by other big players. Okay, now I don't see. Maybe it was a specific page, but I saw there some page that I cannot currently find. Sorry?
Do you need the HTML?
No, I mean WebMCP. Yeah, WebMCP. And they had something like fetch documentation tool, so it's they also tried to play with this protocol on their side. Yeah. Thank you.
You have more questions.
Yeah.
Here you go.
No, I saw Claude read the model context from a Navigator, and it was recently shifted to document. So my question, was done by what you put in config TS? Like, can you show the output of the Claude? It was written.
Of the Claude.
Yeah, it was read from Navigator model context, and it seemed to probably fallback, but and which version of Angular do you use for this? Because the last one is 22, right? 22nd.
Yeah. And I think it's from Angular 21. It's available.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
So
but
what I wanted to say that they shifted from Navigator model context to document model context, and interesting why Angular put it to Navigator.
Yes, you're right. I don't know, maybe they created a...
Actually, we can do it without Angular, just using document and register all this. But strange why new Angular put it on Navigator and not on document, but I will check it as well.
Good question.
Okay, I will check. Interesting.
Yeah,
okay.
but I also saw this update that they moved.
Because actually, if we write it by ourselves, we need to put it on document and not on Navigator.
Yes, but for that, it's better to read documentation because it
strange
changes
because
very
both this API is from Google and Angular is from Google, why not synced? Okay, but thank you for good speech. Thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Just a small question, comment about the WebMCP. For example, with a bind, because you can provide different information just to the bot than you would give to normal users. Is there a whole playground for phishing, for new tricking to sell you more expensive courses because you give different data to the bot that you wouldn't see on the website directly?
Yeah, security, it's yeah, big topic to discuss actually. And some of yeah. So yeah, it has problems with the security, and it was raised by Safari team, the WebKit team. I saw that proposal on the GitHub. I cannot find the link there, but they also raised questions similar to what you answered, and yeah, Google team say that we will investigate this. So, yeah. Still, again, it's an experiment. It's more for you, like, play with it, give you a direction of how this whole story evolves, and yeah, because it's experimental, it's not ready for production. Yeah, we should consider that too. But yeah.
Any more questions? Looking good? Everyone satisfied? Then big applause.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the great talk. So, next point will be the Raffle. Are you looking at a quick small break where I get the Raffle tickets ready for you guys? Or are you on time? Because we were not on time tonight, so you can stay a little longer, a little bit. There's plenty of beer in the fridge, so you're all more than welcome to stay a little longer. Just give me a couple of minutes to prepare the tickets, and then we do the Raffle.
Myślała to dać się.